Hey, Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me. I'm Rebecca, your host and admin of the DCL community. And today we are talking about the Disney Treasure. If you don't know, the Disney Treasure is one of the newest ships to the Disney Cruise Line fleet. So before you book, you might have some questions. You might be a little hesitant to book one of the newer ships. And that is what we are here to help with today. So as you're coming in, please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from so we can say hi. And I'm curious who's sailed on the Treasure already because I haven't. But Chelsea, you just got off. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Chelsea with My Path Unwinding Travel, and I was just on the Treasure back in May with my family as well as with another family with similarly aged children. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to hear things from your point of view, your kids' point of view, having sailed before. And if you are ready to book a Disney cruise or any cruise, you guys work across so many cruise lines, Adventures by Disney, everything. Reach out to Chelsea and her team. Their planning services are actually free for you to utilize so they can help with all the small details and you can focus on the fun. But overall, right? Treasure, new ship. Let's talk about where you guys went, where you left from, kind of paint that picture, and we can dive in from there.
Yeah, so we actually were traveling with another family who was coming from California. So they were traveling from the West Coast, and we live on the East Coast. So we were coming from North Carolina, and we both flew into Port Canaveral. We flew into Orlando, and then took transportation down to Port Canaveral and stayed at the port the day before, and then got on the Treasure from there.
Oh my gosh, so nice. And was it Eastern or Western Caribbean?
It was an Eastern.
Eastern. Okay. And I
Yeah.
know somebody is going to ask, so I'll just go ahead and ask. Did you enjoy the Eastern Caribbean itinerary? What are your thoughts on
Absolutely.
it?
Yes,
Yes.
we did. We were a little bougie, so we kind of booked some off the beaten path type excursions with our family
Yeah.
and had a really, really great time.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. I feel like so often people are scared to do something on their own and, not do something in the app. But there's so many amazing options, not just doing what's in the app. Like this whole world out there, guys. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the ship as a whole, right? It's different, right? I feel like that's the
Yeah.
expectation that I tell everybody going into the Wish class ships for the first time.
It's different, especially if you are familiar at all with like the more traditional Disney aesthetic because it has a lot more rich tones. It's very like adventure type themed a little bit. So when you first walk into the lobby, you see Aladdin, and it's a little bit uh just the theming is a little more rich in terms of the color
Yes.
palette.
Now, I know there's a lot of different types of spaces on board, again, compared to some of the other ships in the fleet. And I'm curious, as someone who, like, I'm not a parks person, I don't know anything about the parks. I still call the thing at Epcot a golf ball because I don't actually know what it's called. But if you're a parks person, I feel like the Treasure is like right up your alley with some of these spaces, right?
I mean, I am a parks person, and so I loved it. I didn't want to get off. I thought about asking if I could live there, so it was fine.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Okay, so from the parks person point of view, what were some of your highlights from the trip?
I mean, the Haunted Mansion lounge was the theming in there is phenomenal. If you love the Haunted Mansion, if you love the Jungle Cruise, it just the theming is over the top. They did a really, really great job with it. My kids also loved the Haunted Mansion lounge. They wanted to go in. I think we went in there like 3 or 4 times. They loved it.
That's awesome. And Katie's asking if you need a reservation to go in there.
You do not. So I know on the Wish, when it originally had opened up their lounge in the same space where the Haunted Mansion lounge is, you were originally required to make reservations to go in there. That has not been the case with the Treasure. It's, a free for all.
Love that. And then Jalen is asking, I thought that it was just adults in there. Can you really bring your kids?
Yes, you can absolutely bring your kids in there. Like I said, my kids loved it. They had a really, really great time. We went there during the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think at some point during the evening it like switches to adults
It's
only,
six
but during
o'clock.
the day, okay,
Yeah.
thank you for knowing that. Yeah, so during the day, go for it. Go explore the spaces. And speaking of your kids, did they enjoy the treasure? And what I get back up, what other ships have you sailed on with Disney? So help us like compare.
So we have been on the Magic and the Wish and the Dream.
So all
And
the classes, love
yes,
that.
yes. And so my kids, granted, they're very young, and so this was the last ship that they've sailed on was the Treasure. So they're front of mind for them, and so they said it's their favorite ship that they've been on. But they've enjoyed all of the ships for different reasons. But the Treasure is the current favorite.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What were some of their favorite things about the treasure? I feel like I need to be taking notes on this because people ask
They
all the time.
Right. They, apart from the fact that we were just on a Disney cruise ship, which they love in general. My kids both loved the Haunted Mansion Lounge a lot. They really enjoyed the kids club. A lot of the kids club programming that they got to do was a lot of fun. They got to make slime with Stitch one day. They got to do a Lightning McQueen Piston Cup race. They had a lot of fun. And I don't think that I've ever seen my children more in shock and awe than when we saw the Moana show. They both were sitting on my lap and just mouths dropped the whole time. They
I
sat through
love
the whole thing
that.
completely still. They loved it.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. And we have a question about, do you have to sign up for the kids club?
So you sign a waiver during your online check-in, and then when you physically get on board the ship, you can go during their open house and you can complete their registration and make sure their bands are working to get in and out. But you don't have to sign them up for any specific times. You can just kind of go when you're ready to go.
And as a parent, you feel totally safe and comfortable dropping your kids off at the kids club?
Yes, absolutely. Both of my kids had an amazing time. They were very communicative with us if they needed anything, if they were struggling at all. My youngest was only 3 at the time of the sailing. That was his first time getting to do the kids club with his brother. And so he struggled. He had a hard time. He cried the first time he went down the slide and realized he couldn't get out again. He panicked. And he had a little bit of a hard time. And they were really great and very communicative and made him feel safe and comfortable. They wrote him little thank you notes at the end of the sailing, and they sent it to our room, and he was very excited. So they do a great job.
Oh, I love that so much. The counselors in the kids clubs across the board are just chef's kiss. They're so good. And I know this is a concern that a lot of parents have, especially I think it was last year when they changed the age requirements for the age breakdowns is, oh my gosh, my kids are going to be separated now. Are they even going to have fun? And
Yeah.
did they kind of do their own thing in the spaces? Did they feel comfortable going in it on their
So
own or?
because one of them was 3 at the time of sailing, he was in like the more guided programs because 3 and 4 now have more guided handheld type programming versus my oldest, who was 5 at the time, could go off and kind of do what he wanted. 9 times out of 10, he chose to stay with his brother. So the rule was he could stay with his brother if he wanted to, but he couldn't remove his brother from the programming.
Okay.
And so he did. He chose to stay that way the bulk of the time. He chose to stay with his brother. I would go pick them up and they would come out together. So
All best friends. I love that. I love that so much. I know the kids, lots of people saying how great the kids clubs are. It is really next level. And Karen is asking, is the kids club an extra charge?
no, so the kids club is free. The nursery, which is for the toddlers and babies, so the children who are not yet potty trained, do need to stay in the nursery, and there is a charge for that. But for the kids club programming, that is free.
No. Okay, we have a comment here about the food. So I feel like I've heard mixed reviews. Everybody's got different taste buds, right? I think one dessert is amazing and my better half hates it, right? There's no wrong choice here. But talk to us about the food on board.
I liked the food. I'm not a very picky eater. So I will eat most things. I am not very particular. So I did like the food a lot, particularly in cocoa was some of my favorite foods. And we did do one night of adult dining. So we did go to Enchanté one night, which was very nice. And the food was very, very good. My husband is definitely more of a meat and potatoes kind of guy. So I don't think he loved it as much because it's a little more adventurous. So he was kind of like, I wish I had had a cheeseburger before I showed up. But I loved it.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you said that. I feel like not a lot of people have explored Enchanté yet. It's like or Palo is such the go-to that, I'm like, there's really good food right across the hall. Everybody should go check out. So I'm so glad you guys got to do that. And someone's asking if you could choose between Palo or Enchanté, which would you do? I have brunch booked at both. What do you think?
For brunch? Oh my gosh, that's a really tough one. Probably, I don't know.
They're both so good.
Really good. I think it depends on if Palo probably has things for everyone, things that are a little bit more palatable for everyone. So that's probably what I would choose if you have some more picky eaters in your group, because Enchanté tends to be a little bit more small plates,
very elevated food,
a little more elevated dining. So you kind of need to have and want that experience, which the food is amazing. It's phenomenal. But it's definitely a little more elevated.
Yes, agreed. And I will say with Palo Brunch, every time I leave, I'm in a full food coma. Like you need to roll me out of there. With Remy Brunch, when I've done it, no, I'm full, but I'm not hurting.
Right.
And that's probably more of a self-control thing, but to each their own. I say go for both and just report back on your favorite.
Right.
But
why not do both? It's brunch. It's phenomenal.
Yes, exactly. And then what about the food on deck? How did that compare to, I guess, other ships in the fleet and the Wish and Destiny? Is it the same on board?
It was pretty similar to the Wish. The food that was on the pool deck was similar. Okay. You've got your very traditional fare, pizza, burgers, your like Mexican quick service type stuff. So it was comparable to the Wish. It was very good. We liked it. I think the night that we had Enchanté, we took the kids and we got them pizza, and it was really good. And I think the husbands went back for pizza after Enchanté because they were a little bit more.
Yeah, that sounds like my household too. Yeah, I know. I'm like, this was so amazing. And like, it was one bite. I'm like, just stop it. Gotta appreciate the finer things. And then where was that question? April's asking if you had to choose between the treasure and the dream for an adult only, which would you choose and why? Thinking about Europe for next year, but the treasure looks nice. I know.
So I will say that I have actually sailed on the dream in an adults only situation. And so like I loved it, had an amazing time. There was so much to do. And I didn't get quite as much time away from my children while I was on the treasure. It's just for such a long sailing, there's so much to see and do on the treasure because it's a larger ship. So there are fantastic adult spaces on both. And I just don't think that you can go wrong with either. But
I was going to say, I would reach out to Chelsea and her team and have that conversation about what's important to you, like where you're leaving from, what you want to do on board. Some people are really port heavy. So in that case, that might sway it. So I would definitely reach out and at least have that conversation. The Dream Class ships have so many great bars and lounges, but there are so many nooks and crannies on the Wish Class ships to explore. Yes. And I know somebody's going to bring up like, well, what about the running deck? Or what about, the layout of the ship? Did you find that interfered with your ability to join the ship at all?
No, I didn't. It's such a different ship from, the Dream and the Fantasy. It's hard to compare the two because they are very different layouts. But because it is such a bigger ship, there's like pockets of things to do and explore all throughout the ship. So no, we didn't have a hard time with the layout at all. I've also sailed on the Wish though, so I'm used to the layout of it. So it was familiar to me. So
And I think with 7 days too on the treasure, you have so much more time. It becomes like home. Because
yes,
I
my
remember,
biggest beef with the Wish is that you only get 4 nights. So
I know. It's like they trick you into a back to back just
right.
because you need more time with it, which is not a bad trick. But yeah, I feel like when the Dream first came out over a decade ago, people said the same thing comparing the Dream to the Magic and the Wonder. They're like, oh, it's a different layout. It's a different layout. And they complained. But then when the Fantasy came out, same layout, longer cruises, they were like, oh, the Fantasy is great. So I feel like you just got to get used to it. It's like a new pair of shoes. You got to break it in,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Oh, love that. And somebody else is asking about the entertainment on board. What else do they have besides the shows? My kids probably aren't going to want to sit through the shows.
So I will say the shows aren't super long. It's like a condensed Broadway show. So they're under an hour. It's not something that my kids at 5 and 3 did sit through it, and were fine. We just loaded them up with snacks and went in there, and they sat and were fine. But there's live music on board. There's characters everywhere, that you can interact with. They do like sort of like little mini skit shows in the Grand Hall every once in a while, and those are super funny, super cute. And they do those a couple of times throughout the sailing, so you can get to experience that as well. There's also just there's trivia, there's bingo, there's
Yeah.
karaoke. There's so much to do.
Yes. And that's just for the families. And then you get into all the adult only activities too. And that's only the stuff that you don't have to pay extra for, right? If you want to pay a little bit more, there's even more options for that. So
Right, exactly.
you will not be bored. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I've only sailed on the Wish once. The Seas the Adventure Show, that one's really short, right?
I think it's only like 45 minutes. It's not
Yeah.
super long.
Yeah. So
So
I would go if you're, hesitant because you don't think your kids will sit through, sit towards the back of the theater. You guys can hop out if your kids just aren't interested.
and that's
But
absolutely what we did when my kids were younger. We would go to dinner, take them back to the stateroom, put them in their pajamas, go to the show, sit at the back. As soon as they started tapping out, we would just get up and leave.
yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I feel like parents so often can feel this pressure to do what other people are doing on board. But if it doesn't work for your family at that time, that place, like, don't worry about it. It's your vacation and it's okay that your kids don't want to participate. And sometimes at some point, they're probably going to ditch you and want to just go to the kids club on their own. They're going to be like, bye, mom and dad.
Right.
And let's see. Somebody's asking, I heard that the lines on the cruise for the characters are really bad. What did you think?
Um, it definitely depended on the character. Um, they are nowhere near as bad as they are in the parks.
Got it.
You're not going to find, they cap the lines. So you're not going to find that the lines are excessive. You're waiting 30 plus minutes for characters and rides and things like you are in the park. Like it's not it wasn't as significant as it is in the parks. And on a 7-night sailing, there's so many opportunities to see characters,
Yes.
that you're not going to find the lines to be quite as bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, and so often people try and, they just rush. And the first day or two, they are all about the characters because they feel like if they don't go then, they're going to miss out. But they come back out every day. Like
Yes.
you'll get to meet plenty of characters. If there are any like special ones, like maybe for Halloween on the High Seas, like the Sanderson sisters. Okay, that one you might have to wait for
Those
more.
lines are insane.
Yeah.
I will admit those lines are crazy.
Yes, but I will say Disney does their best to move you through quick. Every family gets one picture. It was the same with like we did the Pixar Day at Sea, and it was the same way. Like the line was long, it took a long time, but once you're there, it was efficient. You moved through. So Disney tries to keep things moving. And Jennifer is asking, we're two adults going on our first Disney cruise on the Treasure. What do you recommend for adult activities besides tasting in the spa?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I know. Where do we start?
Bingo. I
Yes,
love
I love
bingo.
it.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Bingo is so much fun. Just enjoying the lounges is a lot of fun. Doing the trivia is so much fun. They even have like some trivia that is adult exclusive. They have sketch classes that are a lot of fun. Um, they do live music in the Scat Cat Lounge, which is phenomenal.
I
I
was
mean,
gonna
there's
say all like the adult only game shows at night, like
yes,
oh, I'm totally blanking. Is it Sarabi? What is the name of the
yes,
okay, thank you. There's so many lounges. I'm like, what's that one
yeah,
called again? But every night in Sarabi, it'll be closed and only be open for adults. And it's family turned adult lounge. And they'll have all sorts of game shows to participate. Like I think there's like a match your May type of like
yes,
piratey show, and they've got
yes,
so many options. And you don't need to sign up for those. Like that's always my biggest piece of advice to Disney cruisers, especially first timers. Do not fall for over planning your vacation by overdoing things in the app ahead of time because all of those are just the extra cost things.
right.
Very good business decision from Disney to put those out. But there's literally hundreds of activities every day that you don't know about. So
Yes.
I think a spa is great, tastings are great, the adult dining is great, but don't overdo it with those
Right.
pre-booked
I mean,
things.
you can even go see a movie. I mean, they
Yes.
often show early release for if they have
Yes.
a movie that's coming out before or during your sailing, there's a high chance that you'll get to watch it on the ship.
Oh my gosh, it's always so much fun when you get to see a premiere in the middle of the ocean before the rest of the world. So cool. So cool. Or even just to see one of your favorites. And someone's asking if you sailed concierge, trying to think if that lounge is worth it. It's such a big jump in price.
So I haven't personally sailed concierge. There's plenty of agents, plenty of clients of mine that have sailed concierge and do find value in that. I have been inside the concierge lounge. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
um,
I'm right there with you. The benefits don't make sense for my family, but I know Karen's like the queen of concierge.
She
She knows
loves concierge. If my kids were a little bit older and I was gonna like fully take advantage of that lounge, I'd be in there all the time. You
yes,
would never
absolutely.
see me again.
Oh my gosh, I know. Just move in. I'm like, they won't notice me, right? They won't notice me, right?
Right.
And let's see. Julie is asking if you thought the crowds were bad. What about Castaway? Heard it can be hard to get a seat, which is not really true, but what do you think? What do you
No,
think?
I've never had a hard time getting a seat on Castaway. Um,
Yeah.
has literally never been an issue. There might be a little bit more of a search with some of the larger ships, but the nice thing about Castaway is that there's only ever just the one ship there. And they do have well over 4,000 chairs on those beaches. So they do have more than enough chairs for everybody. Um, like I said, with the larger ships, there may be a little bit more kind of searching around looking for one, but we've never had an issue finding a good spot on the beach where we can see our kids.
I was gonna say that's I always tell people just keep walking. Like
Yes.
the first area, as soon as you get off the tram, that's where people go, and that gets really crowded. But if you go to a second tram stop and just keep going, there's so many more options. You can get so close to the water. You can see the slides and the ropes. It's near the kids club. Like you
Yes.
there's a maximum number of people that can be there, and Disney has chairs for every one of them. You'll be
Yes.
fine. I
Yes. And the
promise.
water it's so nice. Like we felt super comfortable with our kids being in the ocean with us like sitting nearby and watching them, which is always fantastic for me because my kids are wild.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say, especially when they're little, just keeping track of them, especially when they're making friends on the beach. It's so good to have. Let's see, going on a very maritime cruise in December with my 3-year-old girl. I know a lot of excursions on Port Adventures are not 5 years under friendly. So any excursions that you guys did that you would maybe recommend for little kids?
So if you're doing the Treasure specifically, the Jost Van Dyke Beach is probably where it's at for an Eastern Caribbean sailing. I mean, that was great for little kids, pretty easy to get to. And I do think it was one of the few, because again, my kids at the time were both 5 and under. So finding excursions to do with them can be hard. So yes, I do recommend Jost Van Dyke. For St. Thomas, we actually got a resort pass at a hotel that was nearby to the port. So we actually got an air taxi and went over there and
cool.
Got to use their amenities. We got to use their pool. We got to use the beach. My kids loved it. It was a really good opportunity that, we didn't have to go far and we could be back at the ship on time. The air taxi came back. So
nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So don't be afraid to explore. If you have more questions, I would definitely reach out to Chelsea and her team, because I think so often people assume that, oh, my travel agent, they're just going to book my cruise. I'm never going to hear from them. But you guys are full service. You can help with transfers, with travel insurance, with excursions. You can help with it all. So I would definitely reach out to Chelsea and her team. They're saying thank you. So that's awesome. What about the pools on board? What did you guys think? What did your kids think? Adult area pools and all the kid pool or family pools as well.
So the kid pools are kind of broken up into like a bunch of little mini pools, which it could be either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on the type of pool person you are. We found it was very easy to keep track of our little kids because they're in one condensed area. And we kind of just hopped around to all the little pools. They loved it. My kids are a huge fan of the splash pad on board. We were a little concerned because there is now an age cutoff for the splash pad, but they did let the 5-year-olds go in with our, we just asked and they said, if that's his brother, so long as he's good, he's fine, he can go in. And so we just had a parent go in and monitor that they were not being insane. And then my oldest was actually tall enough to ride both of the slides. So we never saw him again. He was on the slide all day. Just that's all he wanted to do. So
just round and
round.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was going to say those slides. I remember doing the slides on the Magic when I was a kid, and our parents would just post up. You could just watch a movie and the kids would just go up and down the stairs to the slide. Oh my gosh. It was the best. There's nothing like being a kid on a Disney cruise. Truly. And Kathleen is asking, does that ship have ice cream too? Lots of ice cream.
Yes. Ice cream everywhere.
Yeah. Yes. I was going to say they have the included, it's like soft serve, but they also have I'm forgetting the sweet shop. Is that the Zootopia one?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have that. That is not included. You do have to purchase that. But they have a ton of desserts to choose from in there. You can order Mickey bars for free to your room every night through room service. My kids had a Mickey ice cream bar literally every night with dinner that they pre-ordered at breakfast. So they just,
oh my gosh, blessed. I love that so much. They got their priorities straight, which is awesome.
They know what they want.
And this question speaks to me a little bit. How are the rooms, right? I feel like the rooms they're different, but there's a lot of highlights to the rooms compared to the other ships, right? Like the nightlight feature, I felt like was such a big win.
Yes.
So what did you guys think of the staterooms on board?
We were in a veranda room. We did a family veranda room because we were a little nervous and my 5-year-old would not sleep on the bunk. So we got a larger veranda room. So we had 2 pull down beds instead, just in case he was uncomfortable on the top bunk, which ended up not being an issue. So now we know going forward, he will sleep on the bunk and be just fine. But we loved having the extra space. We thought it was great. We absolutely love having a split bath on Disney ships with a family. It's fantastic. And I mean, the theming, it's, the kids, they always love getting into the room and seeing what characters are going to be above the bed. So that's like a big thing for them.
Yes, and somebody did ask, I think it was, where was it? Emily did ask what characters you did have in the room, or what the theme was in the room.
Oh my goodness, I can't even remember it. I have to go back and look through my pictures.
Yes, there's so many options, and if the theme is something important to you, Chelsea, I know your team has a whole list of
We
which
do have
cities
a
or
list.
which
Yeah.
themes. Yes, so good. And then we got a question: do they have the famous Disney churros on the ship?
Yes, they did. We asked what day it was going to be because I was about to throw a fit if I didn't get them. And so it ended up being our castaway day that we had the churro waffles, and I sent my husband up to the buffet and bring down a plate of like 20 of them. So
Yes, I
there
was
was
gonna
plenty.
say so worth the hype. And I think in Coco too, they even have like churros for dessert if you're like really a
They
churros
did.
person.
Yeah, they had churros for dessert, possibly both nights.
Oh,
Yes,
yum.
as an
Oh,
option.
I was gonna say you will not go hungry on a Disney cruise.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And Danny is asking, what did you think about the storage in the staterooms? Worried about not having enough space for all four of our clothes.
No, we've never had an issue with storage on Disney specifically. We find that there's a lot of extra space. Personally, because it was a 7 night, I brought a laundry bag and I did laundry halfway through. So we brought some stuff that would last 7 days, but I did do laundry while we were there just to kind of condense some space and make sure things were clean and less laundry to do when I got home. So
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was gonna say that's like the ultimate mom hack is packing less and just doing laundry because doing laundry in the middle of the ocean on a Disney cruise ship, like you can't get much better than that.
and it's honestly, it doesn't take maybe 30 minutes. It's not a long process. I would put some in the morning. I'd go up and have breakfast. I'd come down. I'd put it in the dryer. By the time we were ready to go to the pool, it was done. So it's pretty fast.
Yes, love that. And hello to Karen who's tuning in. So fun. We did talk about Moana. I think Chelsea would say that was one of the highlights of your cruise, right?
It was so good that we watched it in the theater and then went back to our rooms and watched it on the TV again, in bed with
So
chicken fingers. Like
fun.
we loved it. It was phenomenal.
Oh, so fun. And somebody asked if the lines were bad to get into the show.
So there definitely is a line to get into the show. People queue up, especially if you want like seats kind of towards the front. I do suggest kind of waiting in that line. Personally, what we did is we didn't want to make our kids wait in that line. So we would dump them in the kids club for like 30 minutes
Yeah.
while the adults waited in the line. And then like right before the doors would open, one of the adults would go get the kids and bring them to the theater. That way we weren't, seat hoarding and we would just walk right in with them. So that's another little
So
hack.
smart.
We were not going to
Yeah.
make the 3-year-olds wait.
Yes, I was gonna say wait in that line, just the adults with cocktails on your way into
Exactly.
the
We go to
show.
the lounge, we would get a drink. The adults
Oh
would
my,
wait with cocktails. The kids would
oh
get
my
some
gosh.
kids club time. An adult would go get them. It was great. It was the best way to do
Parent
it.
hacks
Right.
cruising. You've got them all. That is awesome. And Kim is asking, how many suitcases did your family bring?
We only brought two, like two big checked bags, and then each person had a backpack with their own like stuff for the plane and things like that. And we did have a stroller with us as well.
Got it. Good to know. Yeah, I know packing for the family it can definitely be overwhelming, but that's where Chelsea and her team come in because they can tell you what you actually need and what you can leave at home. Like, don't worry about the beach towels; they've got plenty on board. Right? Leave those. And somebody's asking, you talked about that dining room, but what about the other ones? Were there food good? Was there food good too?
Yes. So, I mean, 1923 is also on the Wish. So it's the same food, same vibe, very
Good.
similar. If you liked it on the Wish, you will like it on the Treasure. It was very, very, very good. And I did mention that like we loved, yeah,
Yes.
we loved Coco. And then we were all we were interested to see how they were going to do the Marvel dinner because we've been to it on the Wish.
Yeah.
So it was nice that they've kind of changed up the story a little bit. So it was not, the same thing. And then night 2, when we did it, they kind of did like a little trivia at the table, which was very fun. It kept the kids very entertained because they're just now starting to get into the superhero lore. So they were very into trying to guess who the characters were and trying to answer all the questions. They liked it, kept them entertained. Anything that'll let me eat my dinner in peace is great.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, I feel like all of the entertainment in those dining rooms, they definitely keep the kids locked in. And of course, the dining teams are amazing too. They've got the kids' menus, lots of great options. And Mary is asking if they're good with allergies on board.
Yes, they are good with allergies. I will say that with allergies, you do need to pre-order your food the day before. So you need to make sure that you alert your dining team that you do have an allergy. They'll ask you what it is, how they can accommodate you, but you do need to pre-order your food the day before to make sure that it is safe for you. And they do also have pre-prepared options that they will have for you on Castaway as well.
Yeah. Such a good point. Good things to keep in mind so that you're strategizing and not hungry and waiting the next day at dinner. And then there was another, somebody's asking, I heard that if you sail concierge that you can get into the shows earlier. Is that really true or a rumor? Good question.
Yes, so they do have reserved seating for concierge guests, so you don't have to wait in that one. That's one of the benefits of being in concierge is that you just go and get into a seat that's been, roped off for all the concierge guests.
And I was going to say, I learned this from Karen. I didn't know concierge guests also get popcorn, which is awesome. I'm like, concierge, got it made. I know. I love it so much. And I know we're running over on time here. So question for you, and this is a selfish question, so everybody forgive me, but for the Disney cruiser who loves the magic wonder, the dream and the fantasy, and they're like, I don't know, is the treasure going to be a good ship, a good fit for me as someone who likes what Disney's already done? How would you talk through that with a client? And, do you think that it's worth trying?
I mean, any Disney ship is a good Disney ship in my mind, but
yeah, amen.
I mean, just going into it with the expectation, like, yes, it is. It's a different ship. It's a different layout, but Disney tells a great story no matter what ship you are on. You're going to find your space there. You're going to find the same Disney magic on the treasure that you would find on any of the other ships. And so it's a great, especially if you want a longer itinerary, you want a bigger ship, you want to see something new. It's amazing. It's a good option.
Oh my gosh, I could not agree more. They don't make bad Disney cruise ships. Everybody's got a favorite, right? I know everybody does, but you're going to have a great time because of that Disney level service that you've come to know and love. Like that's what it comes down to. Oh my gosh. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. Are you going to sail on the treasure again? Are we in the works?
I mean, it's not in the works yet, but I mean, if I could be on there again tomorrow, I would be.
I was going to say, Karen, if you're still watching, Chelsea's going to next week off because she needs to get back on the treasure, right? Oh my gosh. Well, thank you all so much for joining. If you are ready to book your Disney cruise, whether it's on the treasure or maybe exploring one of the other ships, reach out to Chelsea and her team at My Path Unwinding Travel. Like we said in the beginning, their planning services are free for you to utilize. So let them help you so that you can focus on the fun of the vacation and not stress about all the little details. They can handle that for you. Chelsea, thank you so much again for all of your time. And we will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.